And we are back with Illustrator 2014 release, Classroom in a Book, Chapter 12, Part E. We are starting on the top of page 378 with adding symbols to the perspective grid. When the grid is visible, you can add repeating items. Like text, you can bring symbols into perspective. We're going to add a symbol to one of the boxes. With the perspective selection tool, which is the one with the box, you are going to click to select the left side of the tall box. This ensures that the correct grid plane is selected in the plane switching widget. As you can see, the blue right grid automatically selects with that. We're going to click on the symbols panel, and we're going to drag orange flower from the symbol panels onto the left, that's this one here, onto that left box. Now this is not into perspective yet. With the perspective selection tool, again, drag the selected symbol to the bottom of the left side of the box to attach it to that plane. See how it shifts? And now it's become attached. Zoom in on bottom so that you can see it better. And use the perspective selection tool again. Press the Shift key and drag the middle top point down until the symbol fits correctly onto the box. So we're going to, by holding the Shift key down, we are getting this to scale evenly. There we go. If you just grab without pulling in the Shift key, you will shrink this down in height. You will not change the width along with it. And we want this to go down fairly small, about there. Okay, and you can click off to deselect. After bringing symbols into perspective, you may need to edit them. Know that functionality like replacing a symbol or breaking the link doesn't work on symbols in perspective. So we're going to make a change to the flower symbol. First of all, go up to View and fit your artboard in the window. Double-click the orange flower thumbnail in the Symbols panel. That's going to bring that symbol up and puts you in symbol editing mode and hides the rest of the artwork. Go to View Outline so that you can see the text. Because it's in white, it won't show up. Zoom in. Now you can either do the Control++, or you can use your Control and your space bar and click in a couple of times so you're zooming in so that you can really see what you're doing. And with the Type tool selected, you want to double click to select the parfum and type pencil. Now go back to View to Preview and press your Escape key 2 times to get back out. And when you scroll down, you will have pencil on the symbol. Deselect if you need to by clicking off to the side, and if everything is correct, save. If it's not, then you need to go back to your last saved and rework it. Next, we're working with grouping content in perspective. Grouping content on the grid allows you to combine several objects into a group so that the objects are treated as a single unit, much like groups that are not in perspective. Let's like this symbol is a group. Next, you're going to group content, and then you're going to apply a drop shadow. With the perspective selection tool, position the pointer off of the lower right corner of the shorter box. You're going to drag a marquee selection across the right side, the left side, and the top of the shorter box. So we'll just click and drag across the whole thing to select it. Do not drag across the other box. Go to Object and Group. By grouping content that's on the perspective grid, You have now released it from the grid. So now it has moved up above the other box. Click the Graphic Styles panel to show it. And there is a graphic style called Drop Shadow, and you're going to apply that. Now go to Object, Arrange, and Send to Back. Again, deselect. With the Perspective Selection tool again, you're going to Shift-click the right and left sides of the tall box and go to Object, Group, and again apply Drop Shadow. There will be times when you want to use objects that are currently in perspective elsewhere, or you want to detach an object from a grid plane. Illustrator allows you to release an object from the associated perspective plane, but it still appears to be in perspective. The ad needs a smaller version of the larger box near the bottom. You will copy and paste the perspective content to release it with perspective. Again, with the Perspective Selection tool, click the shorter box content. And remember, it's all grouped. We're going to edit, copy. Let's zoom out. So fit in Artboard in Window, and edit and paste. That pastes it in the center of the artboard. Go to Object Transform, and we want to scale this. It needs to be a uniform 20% scale, and we do want to make sure that Scale Strokes and Effects is selected before you say OK. If you click the Layers panel to expand the layers, in the Layers panel, click the Visibility column for other artwork so that you can see it. You may find that the artwork from other artwork that just appeared is covering part of the content on the perspective grid. You may want to reposition the content on the other artwork layer after unlocking the same layer or in the Layers panel. Select the Selection tool and drag your small. Now you don't need the Perspective Selection tool for this one. You're just going to get the Selection tool and drag your little group down so it's in front of the text Order Online Today. After you've moved the small box down, you may find that the other artwork doesn't line up exactly like you would like it to see it. You can go in and lock your perspective layer, unlock the other artwork, pick the other artwork up, and you can move that to make it look a little more like the diagram in the book. Repositioning this artwork is probably going to be simpler than going in and repositioning the other artwork. You can do that. However, to move this artwork, remember we're going to pick up this piece, and if you try to move it, the object is going to be expanded to perform that operation if you're using your perspective tool. We can try this and see if we can move. Oh, we don't want to select that group. We can try moving it and see if it works. But you will need to move each item separately. It's also going to expand this, which is all right since we have completed what we've done. However, moving everything on that layer may be a little more difficult. If, however, you wish to move everything on that on the perspective drawing that you just completed, you can select the perspective layer, use your selection tool, and select all for that layer. When you move everything on that layer, if you want to slide that over to the left, you're going to get this warning box that says the perspective object will be expanded in order to perform this operation. If you're trying to move, scale, or copy a perspective artwork, please use the perspective selection tool. I'm going to say OK to this. I can actually move this because everything is done and it is complete and everything was correct. And I still am getting that placed because that will have to be moved again. If, however, you have had difficulty with what you've done and you have simply or you need to have me look and see what was done wrong with this, I won't be able to analyze anything if it's been taken off the grid. Otherwise, you can go and simply, let me undo what I've done here. You can leave everything as it sits, and then I'll be able to take a look at your grid and see if there's anything that that I can do to help you out with this. If you would like to, you can go to hide your perspective grid. So if you can go to view perspective grid and you can hide the grid and the ad is then complete. Again, save, and you're going to also go and that's going to take a little bit. You're going to go to File, do a Save As. Again, you're going to save this as a PDF, and I will be able to, press Quality, save your PDF, and I will be able to turn your grid back on and see if there's an issue that you need to have corrected. I'll be able to help you with that and tell you what your issues are. Other than that, this is the last chapter that we're completing out of this book, and your next assignment is going to be your final project for Illustrator. I will have that posted shortly, and you will have a week to complete that, and then we will be moving on to Photoshop.